There exists a secret code that separates those who merely dream from those who transform dreams into reality. Throughout history, great leaders, thinkers, and visionaries have followed invisible rules that shaped not only their lives, but the world around them. These aren't coincidences or lucky breaks, they're deliberate choices, conscious decisions that create extraordinary outcomes. Today, you're about to discover these 10 fundamental rules that can revolutionize your journey. Rules that have been whispered in boardrooms, shared between mentors and students, and lived by those who refuse to accept mediocrity. Some will challenge everything you believe about success. Others will feel like truths you've always known but never dared to speak. The question isn't whether these rules work. History has already proven that. The question is, are you ready to follow them? Leave a comment below and tell us which of these rules you most need to apply in your life right now. Rule number 1, face reality exactly as it is, not as you wish it were. In a small town in Ohio, there lived a man who spent 15 years blaming everyone else for his failures. His boss was unfair. The economy was terrible. His family didn't support him. He had a story for every setback, a villain for every disappointment. One morning, staring at his reflection in a cracked bathroom mirror, he asked himself a question that would change everything. What if the common factor in all my problems is me? This is where wisdom begins, with brutal honesty. The most successful people in the world share one uncomfortable trait. They see reality without the filter of wishful thinking. They don't sugarcoat their weaknesses or blame external circumstances for their internal failures. They look at their bank account, their relationships, their health, and their happiness with the cold precision of a scientist examining data. Why is this so difficult? Because our minds are survival machines, not truth-seeking machines. We're hardwired to protect our ego, to maintain our self-image, to avoid the pain of acknowledging our role in our own suffering. But here's the paradox. The very mechanism designed to protect us often becomes the prison that confines us. Rule number 2, take complete ownership of your choices and their consequences. Ownership isn't just about admitting mistakes. It's about recognizing your power. When you blame circumstances, you surrender control. When you blame other people, you hand them the keys to your destiny. But when you take ownership, something magical happens. You reclaim your power to change. Consider the story of a woman who lost everything in the 2008 financial crisis. Instead of spending years angry at Wall Street or the government, she asked herself, what can I control from this moment forward? She didn't deny the external factors, but she refused to let them define her response. Today, she owns 3 successful businesses and mentors other entrepreneurs. The difference wasn't her circumstances, it was her response to them. These first 2 rules form the foundation of all wisdom because they establish the proper relationship between you and reality. Without this foundation, every other strategy, every technique, every motivational quote becomes meaningless noise. But with it, you become unstoppable. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Rule number 3, discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Most people think discipline is about willpower, gritting your teeth and forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But true discipline is far more elegant than that. It's about creating systems so powerful that good choices become automatic, almost effortless. Think about a concert pianist. They don't rely on motivation to practice every day. They've built discipline into their identity. The practice isn't separate from who they are. It's an expression of who they are. This is the secret that separates professionals from amateurs. Professionals have systems. Amateurs have goals. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, discovered something profound in his research. People who achieve extraordinary results don't have extraordinary willpower. They have extraordinary systems. They've designed their environment, their schedule, and their habits to make success inevitable rather than accidental. Rule number 4. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't just motivational rhetoric, it's scientific fact. Mirror neurons in your brain automatically copy the behaviors, attitudes, and even the physiological responses of people around you. If you're surrounded by complainers, you'll find yourself complaining. If you're surrounded by people who make excuses, you'll find yourself making excuses. But if you're surrounded by people who solve problems, who take responsibility, who constantly grow and improve, their excellence becomes contagious. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people are more influenced by their environment than they are influencing their environment. They drift toward the comfort of familiar mediocrity instead of swimming against the current toward excellence. But wise people understand that your peer group isn't just social, it's strategic. This doesn't mean you should abandon old friends or become ruthlessly calculating about relationships. It means you should be intentional about who you spend your time with and how they're affecting your trajectory. Seek out people who challenge you to grow, who celebrate your victories without jealousy, and who hold you accountable to your highest standards. What do you think about what we've covered so far? Are you starting to see patterns in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. Rule number 5. Transform every failure into fuel for your next attempt. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the raw material of success. But most people have been conditioned to fear failure so deeply that they avoid risk, settling for guaranteed mediocrity over uncertain greatness. Wise people have a different relationship with failure. They don't enjoy it, but they don't fear it either. They see it as data, as feedback, as tuition paid to the University of Life. Consider Thomas Edison's laboratory. On December the 9th, 1914, a massive fire destroyed his entire facility. Years of research, millions of dollars in equipment, irreplaceable prototypes. Edison was 67 years old. Most people would have seen this as the end. Instead, Edison told his son, "Go get your mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." The next morning, he was already making plans to rebuild, incorporating everything he had learned from the disaster. This is the mindset that separates survivors from thrivers. The ability to extract value from every experience, especially the painful ones. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Pain is what happens to you. Suffering is what you do to yourself by resisting, denying, or remaining bitter about that pain. Rule number 6. Guard your attention like you guard your money, because it's more valuable. In a world designed to distract you, focus becomes your superpower. But focus isn't just about productivity, it's about presence. It's about being fully engaged with what matters most, instead of being partially engaged with everything that doesn't matter at all. The average person checks their phone 144 times per day. They consume more information in a single day than people in previous centuries consumed in their entire lifetimes. Their attention is fractured, scattered, pulled in a dozen different directions simultaneously, and then they wonder why they feel anxious, overwhelmed, and unfulfilled. Wise people understand that attention is not just a resource, it's the most precious resource. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If you're constantly focused on problems, you'll see more problems. If you're constantly focused on opportunities, you'll see more opportunities. If you're constantly focused on what's missing, you'll experience scarcity. If you're constantly focused on what you're grateful for, you'll experience abundance. This isn't positive thinking, it's practical neuroscience. Your brain literally creates more of what you pay attention to. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your experience, and the quality of your experience determines the quality of your life. Thank you so much for staying with us this far. The wisdom we're sharing isn't just theory. It's been tested by millions of people throughout history, and the best is yet to come. Rule number 7, cultivate gratitude, especially in your darkest moments. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect or denying real problems. It's about recognizing that even in the midst of genuine difficulty, there are elements of your experience worth appreciating. This isn't naive optimism. It's strategic wisdom. When you're grateful, several things happen in your brain simultaneously. Your stress hormones decrease. Your immune system strengthens. Your creativity increases. Your problem-solving abilities improve. Most importantly, your perspective shifts from what's wrong to what's possible. This shift doesn't minimize your challenges. It maximizes your capacity to handle them. Consider Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps and wrote one of the most influential books of the 20th century. In Man's Search for Meaning, he didn't minimize the horror of his experience. Instead, he found meaning within it. He discovered that even in the most dehumanizing condition, he still had one freedom that no one could take away: the freedom to choose his response to his circumstances. This is the power of gratitude. It transforms victims into survivors and survivors into thrivers. It doesn't change what happened, but it changes what happened next. Rule number 8, never stop learning, because the moment you stop growing, you start dying. Learning isn't just about acquiring new skills or knowledge. It's about maintaining what scientists call neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural connections throughout your entire life. When you stop learning, your brain literally begins to atrophy. You become rigid, predictable, and vulnerable to a world that rewards adaptability. But here's what most people miss. The goal isn't to learn more. It's to learn better. In an age of information overload, the ability to learn isn't just about consuming content. It's about connecting ideas, recognizing patterns, and applying insights in creative ways. The wisest people are perpetual students. They approach every conversation, every experience, every challenge with curiosity rather than certainty. They ask better questions instead of assuming they have all the answers. They know that intelligence isn't about knowing everything, it's about knowing how to figure out anything. This mindset becomes even more crucial as you age. While your peers become increasingly set in their ways, you remain flexible, adaptable, and relevant. While they complain about how the world is changing, you evolve with it. While they retreat into the comfort of familiar opinions, you expand into the adventure of new possibilities. Rule number 9, serve something greater than yourself. Purpose isn't found, it's created. And it's created through service. When you dedicate your life to something beyond your immediate self-interest, something profound happens. Your problems become smaller, your perspective becomes larger, and your impact becomes immeasurable. This doesn't mean you have to save the world or cure cancer. It means finding ways to contribute value to others' lives, whether through your work, your relationships, or your community. It means asking not just, what can I get, but what can I give? Consider a teacher hid in inner-city Detroit who could have taken a higher-paying job in the suburbs, but chose to stay and transform her struggling school. Over 20 years, she didn't just teach subjects, she taught hope. Hundreds of her students went on to college, many becoming the first in their families to graduate. Her salary was modest, but her impact was immeasurable. This is the paradox of purpose. When you stop chasing happiness and start creating meaning, happiness finds you. When you stop focusing solely on your own success and start contributing to others' success, your own success becomes inevitable. Rule number 10, maintain your integrity, especially when no one is watching. Integrity isn't just about honesty, it's about alignment. It's about ensuring that your values, your words, and your actions are in harmony. It's about being the same person in private that you are in public, the same person in comfort that you are in crisis. Character is what you do when you think no one is looking. But here's the truth. Someone is always looking. You are. Every time you compromise your integrity, even in small ways, you damage your relationship with yourself. Every time you honor your values, even when it's difficult, you strengthen that relationship. The world is full of people who achieved external success, but lost their internal peace because they sacrificed their integrity for temporary advantage. They won the game, but lost their soul. They gained everything they thought they wanted, but lost everything they actually needed. Integrity isn't always profitable in the short term, but it's always valuable in the long term. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. It's not always rewarded by others, but it's always rewarded by the one person whose opinion matters most, the person you see in the mirror. These 10 rules aren't just concepts. They're tools of transformation tested by time and proven by countless lives changed forever. They're not easy to follow, but they're simple to understand. They don't promise you a life without problems, but they promise you the strength to handle any problem that comes your way. Rule 1 and 2 give you the foundation of truth and ownership. Rules 3 and 4 provide the power of discipline and environment. Rules 5 and 6 teach the art of resilience and focus. Rules 7 and 8 create a mindset revolution through gratitude and learning. And rules 9 and 10 establish your legacy through service and integrity. The question isn't whether these rules work. Millions of people throughout history have already proven that they do. The question is whether you'll have the courage to apply them in your own life starting today. Which of these rules resonated most deeply with you? Which one challenged your current way of thinking? Which one are you going to implement first? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If this content has added value to your life, please subscribe to our channel for more transformational wisdom. Hit that notification bell so you never miss insights that could change your trajectory. And don't miss our next video, the 5 habits that destroy your potential, a revelation that could change everything about how you approach your goals. It's a companion piece to today's wisdom, showing you not just what to do, but what to stop doing immediately. Remember, wisdom isn't about knowing these rules. It's about living them. Your extraordinary life is waiting. The only question is, are you ready to follow the rules that create it?